Hello, everybody. Therealhubbabubbamax here. We are here in the off season. We're gonna go over some stats. Peter Blair had a surprisingly decent year. 48% completion percentage isn't quite where you want it to be, but and Travis Kennison played way more than he should have. William Green had a little bit of a down year, but Tyson Thompson picked up the slack a little bit. Allstott did lead the lead in touchdowns, but not the team, not the league. But look at that yards per carry, 2.1. Marcus Colston was by far our most dependable receiver. Rashawn Woodson had the deep plays, but I could only trust Marcus Colston to actually catch the football most of the year, so he got the most targets and he did a good job with them. But he also had the most drops, but the amount of times he was targeted, best rate by far. Kurt Colley had 123 tackles. My goodness. Gus Lincoln, of all people, led the team in sacks, along with Gabe Winters. Sergio Jarvis and Nick Hendricks also had pretty good years. So did Michael Crane on the cornerback blitz, was an effective thing for us this year. Gabe Winters did have a lot of tackles for loss. We expect that number to keep going up. Rashad Baker led the team in interceptions, which was kind of surprising. Wooly Poole and a couple others had two. I believe Crane did as well, but those were all in the start of the season. See, forced fumbles, I think we had two of these last year, so we had quite a few more, so that's exciting to see. And see, one safety we did have, that was also fun, and Rashad Baker had the first pick six in team history, as Sebastian Janikowski and Reggie Hodges both had good years, so you love to see it. Reggie Swinton with another Pro Bowl season. Again, he actually had two touchdowns this year. Last season, I don't think he had any, but he just got in based on the amount of times he returned kicks. Peyton Manning led the league in most categories. Jackie Williams, a rookie, though, had a very good season. Probably regret not taking him, but we'll have another shot this year, I'm sure. Sean Alexander led the league in touchdowns and yards, and was pretty good in yards per carry, too. Randy Moss, 112 receptions and 1,900 yards. My goodness gracious, so close to a 2,000 yard season. As you can see, Odell Thurman did lead the league in tackles, but Kurt Colley not a ton behind. Terrell Suggs and Agunlie led the league there in sack. Chris Brown, good kicker, but Sebastian Janikowski right up there, and Reggie Hodges. A lot less punts somehow. Probably because we turn the ball over so much that we don't get to punt the ball as much. Peyton Manning will win MVP this year, followed by Alexander and D'Angelo Williams. And D'Angelo Williams will take that Offensive Player of the Year. We will now see Defensive Player of the Year's Derek Johnson. I can't believe we haven't seen any Beavers. We were so good last year. Jackie Williams does get Rookie of the Year, but we do have Pete Blair and Rashawn Woodson up there. Maybe Pete Blair with a full season may have won it, but Kurt Colley does win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Love to see it. He was great. Really is going to be a great piece in our middle of our line for years to come, I hope. As you see, we're going to go quickly through the Pro Bowlers. There's a lot of usual suspects right here. As a few rookies, even. Kendall Simmons, again, still haunting from the Broncos franchise. He gets Pro Bowl literally every year in all these Maddens, and then was the worst player for us in Broncos. Unbelievable. But, pretty good list right here. When we actually had two Pro Bowlers this year, as you see, Steve McNair's a Ram now, which I didn't even notice through everything. Mike Allstott is a Pro Bowler this year. Love to see it. A few interesting names at receiver with Musha Muhammad actually leading the way. See a good list right there. Two Packers defensive tackles made it. How? And see, a lot of people who aren't Beavers are on this list. I'm just going to be honest. Reggie Swinton is, though. Love to see it. Panthers and Packers both finished 13-3. We almost took that away from the Packers in week 17, but we did not. As there are a lot of good teams in the NFC this year, actually, and 5-11 was only the third worst team this year. Unbelievable. As you can see, AFC, and inverse, they had a worse year altogether. Had a lot more teams at the bottom, so Beavers are only going to get the 7th pick, I think, but we'll go to playoffs. 33-6 for the Bengals. I think it was all home teams there, but Colts, Panthers, Bengals, and Packers would win. Bring it to a Colts and Panthers Super Bowl, and in the end, the Panthers would win. I had to do a lot of shenanigans to be able to advance past the Super Bowl, so their rosters probably looked a little weird, but that's how it goes. Ken Schottenheimer, you were bad. Our defense was terrible and regressed, so we're going to get rid of you. We're hiring Joe Barry, who hopefully won't turn into the current Joe Barry on the Packers, but those are risks you take. There wasn't a lot of big names who retired this year. Eric Moulds. See, Todd Stuzzi, our right tackle's going to retire. See, only Kitna, Collins, and Holcomb. Not a very impressive retiring list, but Swinton did retire. That's going to be rough. You see, man, regression hit him hard. He didn't even have a catch last season, but he was a great kickoff returner for us, and he will be sorely missed, along with Horace Wilson, who we did have at the beginning. But let's do some trades. Travis Kennison, I am tired of seeing you throw the football. We probably did this a year too late, but we're doing it now. He put up a lot of good numbers for us, and he was a consistent part, but you are now a Jet. Good luck with that. William Green, we will be extending you another year. He wasn't as good, but he was okay. Tyson Thompson came on strong last year, so we're definitely interested in bringing him back. And Allstott, the regression was brutal for Allstott this year. Again, he's still a great run blocker. He didn't really have the impact receiving as I thought he did. He had so many drops, but I think he was a 91 overall, and he's an 86 now, so we're going to try and get out a year too early than a year too late. You, sir, are now a Viking. Couple more re-signs. We're going to re-sign Wes Welker, who, wasn't great, but he was okay as far as our team goes. We're going to trade our left guard to the Falcons for a 5th rounder. He was terrible last year. Had to get benched eventually. Nick Hendricks also regressed a lot, but we're still going to sign him. Everyone else, you are out. Dale Delgado, you had a okay first season. You did have 1,200 yards, but it seemed like a fluke, and again, he only caught one. He had like 5 times the drops as he did catches. Unreal. Mike Hass, another receiver, is also going to be on his way out. He got lost in the shuffle. He was our 5th receiver, but he didn't really make any sort of impact. As you can see, we aren't losing a lot of talent this year. Brad Hoover, though, we try to go for Randy Moss this offseason, which we will see, but we do end up getting Rich Subert. He's going to be a big addition. Rondé Barber is going to be huge for us. Kyle Turley to replace Stuzzi there. We did get work done, and Tony Parrish as well. Again, we tried for a couple others, and we got Warren Sapp on the tail end of his career, but hey, that's still good for us, I'm sure. Matt Stewart's also joining the team. Let's see the top free agents. Julius Peppers to the Cardinals. Faneca to the Falcons. Randy Moss ends up on the Patriots. How? Unreal. As you can see, Thomas to the Rams. Pat Williams goes to the Bengals. So there was a bit of a movement this year, but nothing too major, I wouldn't say, except for Randy Moss somehow following his real life journey. As you can see, our highest overall rated player was Brad Hoover. Yeah, not a ton else to say in this free agency class, but David Garrard's now a Chief, Aaron Brooks is a Jet, Leftwich is a Ram, and Grossman is a Raider. And we are going to get that number 1 overall pick. We are going to trade our first 3 picks in this year's draft, and we are going to get that number 1 overall pick, because we need a quarterback. And I think they're all going to be gone by the time it's our turn to pick. And, like in Broncos franchise when they traded for the number 1 overall pick, I might decide to trade the number 1 for next year too, but you can't do that in this game. But we are going to select Josh Robbins. 4.3540, like crazy. As you can see too, 91 speed. His accuracy is not where you want it to be, but we can work on that. That is fine. We are totally okay with that. 91 speed is unbelievable. Frank Nixon looks like a decent receiver as we got in the 4th round. And, decent is what we're going to get. Javon Baker looks like he can be okay. Robert Griffin, not the quarterback, but he's probably going to be our starting linebacker. And we got backup offensive linemen throughout the rest of the draft. Around the league, Cameron Sarah was the other option we could have gotten, and he looks amazing with that 99 throw power and 89 accuracy. We might regret it, but hey, he only has 57 speed. Come on, someone call the slope police. Sean Locker was the 3rd pick, and he doesn't look outstanding by any means, but he looks like he could be okay. Reginald Devine, another quarterback in the top 5. He looks like he's going to be pretty good, but not great, but he could get there. And with the 5th overall pick, it would be Darnell Turner, UNLV. He has a lot of speed and acceleration. He's going to be a deep threat for days. Does not have the catching, but he can get that. And Adrian Ford was the 31st pick this year, but he did not get signed. We are going to try our hardest to get him, and we will. Let's go. We didn't get many other quality players, but we'll take it. We will be getting Josh Robbins' accuracy up because it's desperately needed. Kurt Colley's just going to get a little better at tackling. Can't hurt. He did miss quite a few tackles last season. Adrian Ford's really talented all around, but not carrying the football, which is important. Tony Stanley had a lot of drops, so we will be improving that. And as you can see, we're going through our schedule real quick. We're going to face the Vikings again in the first week of the season. We faced them in the first or second week of the season, all 3 years of the franchise. I don't know how that works out. Depth chart time, though. Josh Robbins will start. Adrian Ford will start with William Green as a backup. We might change that up. I don't know. Tyson Thompson looked a lot better than him last year at times. Our receivers will be Stanley, Colson, and Woodson. So Woodson goes from the 1st option to the 3rd, and we'll also see if Nixon can overtake him. Again, I'm open to changing it. Leonard Davis also regressed a lot at left tackle, so hopefully that won't be an issue. As you can see, our offensive line's okay. Nothing great, but it's okay. Gabe Winters, I hope you have a big year this year. Gus Lincoln also regressed, which is not great to see from his 2nd-year player, but we're hoping he can get his composure back, but Warren Sapp will start for him. Nothing really changed except for Robert Griffin's now on the linebackers. Now it's going to be Will Poole's not going to have the number 1 option. He's going to be the 3rd now, as Rashawn Baker and Tony Parrish will make up our secondary. So I think we improved there. Not great, but I think it'll be okay. As Nate Washington will take over for Pro Bowler Reggie Swinton, and hopefully he can get his own Pro Bowl. So, again, we're going to face the Vikings for the first and week 1 for the 2nd time in this franchise. I think last year it was week 2, but still, I don't know why they put them in Toronto so often. But we have a team this year. Josh Robbins, if you can be decent, we could do great things, and I hope we can. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I am so excited to see you guys next week, and goodbye.